Warning: you are spending your absolute best years paying off a $100,000 quote unquote dream degree for a job that pays you in exposure and pure burnout. At what point do we actually admit that this isn't a career? I mean, really, it's a luxury hobby you literally cannot afford. I see you, girl, hustling for a title that sounds impressive at brunch, right? But it leaves you checking your bank balance before you even dare to buy a latte. Warning: we've been sold a total lie that passion pays the bills. Newsflash: it doesn't. It's a psychological trap designed to keep you compliant, quiet, and severely underpaid. Today, I'm exposing the scam of the dream career and why your loyalty is actually your greatest financial liability. I mean, think about it. You spent 4 to 6 years and a small fortune on a piece of paper that promised you a seat at the table. But now that you're there, you realize the table is literally falling apart. And the only thing they're serving is prestige, which, last time I checked, doesn't pay $3,000 in rent in Brooklyn or Austin, right? We've been conditioned to believe that if we love what we do, the money will naturally follow. That's the first big lie of the modern economy. In reality, the more you love your work, the easier it is for your employer to exploit that passion. They know you'll stay late for the mission. They know you'll accept a pathetic 2% raise when inflation is hitting 7% because you care about the impact. It's a brilliant system, really. For them, not you. They've managed to turn your ambition into a leash. You aren't building a foundation for wealth, you're funding an aesthetic that's keeping you broke. If your dream job requires a side hustle just to afford basic health insurance, well, I hate to break it to you, but you aren't living the dream. You're participating in a high stakes MLM where the product is your own identity. It's time we look at the numbers and stop letting passion be the reason you're retiring with nothing but a collection of blazer sets and a burnout induced migraine. Let's be real for a second, honestly. You're staying in that glamorous, soul sucking role because you're terrified, right? You're scared that if you leave, those 5 years of grinding and that $60,000 master's degree will suddenly mean nothing. Well, newsflash: that money, it's gone. That time, it's vaporized. It's a ghost in your bank account that isn't coming back to see you. Trust me. Psychologists call this the sunk cost fallacy, but I call it a financial death trap designed to keep you playing small while calling it loyalty. You think you're being resilient, but you're actually just a bad investor. I mean, if I told you to keep pouring your life savings into a stock that has lost value every single year just because you liked the logo or because the CEO had a curated LinkedIn aesthetic, you'd call me insane. Yet here you are doing exactly that with the most valuable asset you own, your time. Let's look at the actual math, because numbers don't have feelings, unlike your HR department, right? If your dream career is yielding a pathetic 2% return on your time, maybe a tiny cost of living raise if you're lucky, while a pivot to a high growth industry offers a 20% return, you aren't saving your career by staying. You are paying a dream day. Every single day you sit in that cubicle for the sake of prestige, you are literally setting tens of thousands of dollars on fire.
Staying in a low yield career because you already put in the work is financial suicide disguised as ambition. I mean, let's call it what it is. It's not grit, it's a scam you're running on yourself to avoid the discomfort of starting over. You're treating your life like a failing business that refuses to pivot because it's already printed the business cards. But here is the real kicker that most career coaches are too afraid to tell you. The cost isn't just the money you're losing today. It's the compounding effect of what you're not earning over the next decade. And once you see how much that prestige is actually costing your future self, you'll realize that playing it safe is the riskiest move you've ever made. Because there's one specific number that proves your dream job is actually a nightmare in disguise. And it's hidden right in your paycheck. I'm done watching you play pretend. I mean, it's It's time for a savage reality check because your so-called dream career is bleeding you dry while you smile for that LinkedIn headshot, right? Step 1, we're doing a true hourly rate audit. I want you to take that impressive gross salary and start stripping it naked. Subtract the federal and state taxes, subtract that soul-crushing $50 daily commute, and definitely subtract the unpaid overtime you do just to look like a team player. Now, divide what's left by the actual hours you spend thinking about work. If your real hourly rate is less than what a freelance assistant makes while sitting in their pajamas, you weren't winning. You're basically doing high-end charity work for a billionaire who doesn't even know your middle name. Step 2, you need to set a stop-loss date. I mean, in the stock market, smart investors cut their losses before they're ruined. So why aren't you doing that with your life? If your income doesn't increase by at least 25% within the next 12 months, the position is liquidated. Period. No more waiting for the next review cycle or hoping things get better after the next merger. Hope is not a financial strategy. It's a symptom of a sinking ship. Step 3, reallocate your emotional capital. Stop investing your sanity into company culture and corporate pizza parties. Stop performing success by buying $200 networking lunches and designer work bags to keep up with coworkers who are also, one paycheck away from a crisis. Take that money, the thousands you'll save by cutting out those prestige expenses, and start a DCA strategy into a low-cost index fund. Stop trying to look like you've made it and start actually building wealth. But look, I know what you're thinking. You worry that if you stop performing, you'll be forgotten. That's the fear they've spent years installing in your brain, right? However, there's a much darker reason why you're terrified to walk away, and it has nothing to do with your talent or your resume. It's a psychological trick, a scam really, that makes you crave the very cage that's keeping you broke. I want to run a little simulation for you, and honestly, it's probably going to make you want to throw your Employee of the Month plaque right out the window. I mean, you're staying in this prestigious role because it looks good at brunch, right? But let's look at the math your boss is praying you never do.
I'm talking about the Rule of 72. It's a simple mental shortcut to see how fast your money doubles, and it's about to expose exactly how much your passion is costing you. If you're taking a passion discount, which, let's be real, is just a fancy way of saying you're underpaid by about $20,000 a year compared to what you'd make if you actually pivoted, you aren't just missing out on a nicer car or a few extra lattes. If I take that $20,000 gap and put it into a boring S&P 500 index fund at an 8% return, that money doubles every 9 years. In 15 to 20 years, that dream career just cost you $500,000 in retirement wealth. $500,000. I need you to really sit with that number, Every single month you refuse to leave because you're loyal or because you love the mission, you are essentially writing a massive check to your employer and signing away your future freedom. I mean, you're literally subsidizing your CEO's third vacation home with your own retirement fund. Is a cool job title and a fun office culture really worth a $500,000 tax on your life? Because that's the price of the check you're writing every time you settle for being underpaid. You think you're building a career, but you're actually just funding someone else's exit strategy while yours evaporates. But I'll be honest with you. As sickening as that $500,000 loss is, it's actually the least of your problems. There's a much more sinister reason why your brain is convinced that staying in this burning building is safe. And it's a psychological trap that even the smartest women I know fall for every single day. Look, I need you to hear this clearly. You aren't a failure for walking away from a dream that turned into a literal financial nightmare. You're finally acting like a strategist by cutting your losses, right? I mean, I see so many of you playing the role of the professional martyr for a corporation that would, quite honestly, have your job posting live on LinkedIn before your obituary even hits the paper if you drop dead tomorrow. That is the reality they don't want you to calculate.
It's time to stop chasing the prestige of a fancy title and start calculating your value in cold, hard dollars. Let's look at the math. If your salary has stayed flat for 3 years while your responsibilities have doubled, well, you aren't climbing the ladder. You're just paying a heavy dream tax to fund your CEO's third vacation home. You're literally subsidizing their lifestyle with your burnout. I know this reality check might sting, but honestly, good. Use that pain to fuel your exit strategy. Your bank account doesn't care about your passion or how many people liked your promotion announcement on social media. It cares about compound interest and your ability to retire before you're 80. Every year you stay in a low-yield, high-stress career is a 100% loss on your most valuable asset, your time. Stop being a pawn in someone else's wealth-building game, you know? If you're done paying the dream tax and you're ready to stop just looking the part and actually start getting rich, I want you to comment the word pivot below. Let's get the conversation started. And if you're finally ready to see through the scams and build a financial future that actually serves you, hit that subscribe button for more wealth strategies that actually work. It's time to stop dreaming and start counting.
But as we begin to clear this mental real estate and set these boundaries, a new and uncomfortable challenge emerges. When you stop being the person who fixes everything, the people around you will notice. And they won't always react with the gratitude you might expect. In fact, some might call you cold or even selfish. This leads us to a delicate crossroads. How do you handle the crushing guilt that comes when the world starts demanding the old you back? Because the real test of your peace isn't how you feel when you're alone. It's how you stand your ground when the people you love start pushing against the new walls you've built. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we finally arrive at the most profound realization of this entire journey, what we call the return to grace. It is the understanding that protecting your energy is not an act of war against those you love, but rather a quiet, a truly necessary act of love for yourself. So many of us fear that by setting boundaries, we are somehow becoming cold or unfeeling, right? But the truth is far more elegant. True emotional mastery is the ability to live with a heart that remains open to the world, while keeping a mind that is vigilantly guarded by wisdom. You see, you are not building a wall to keep people out. You are building a sanctuary so that your inner light isn't extinguished by the winds of everyone else's chaos. When you finally stop trying to fix every problem and carry every burden, something truly miraculous happens. You give the people in your life the greatest gift possible. I mean, the dignity of their own growth. By stepping back, you allow them to face their own challenges and discover their own strength. You stop being the crutch that prevents them from learning how to walk on their own. Ladies and gentlemen, true peace is found when we stop trying to be the hero of everyone's story and finally commit to being the master of our own. You were never meant to be the savior of a world that refuses to save itself. You were meant to be the steward of your own soul. As you move forward from today, I invite you to share your own journey toward peace in the comments below. Have you found the courage to let go? And what did you find on the other side? If these psychological insights have touched your heart, please subscribe to Mindscape's